Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Masud. Welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I want to speak to you guys about cold calling. So cold calling is actually one of the more common ways people nowadays tend to try and, get a client or reach out to a business owner to potentially sign them for their agency. Now, in my experience, cold calling does work, and people say that cold calling is really, really hard, and I do agree somewhat. But in today's video, I wanted to give you guys, you know, three tips or three lessons that I've learned in the past sort of 3, 4 months of trying out cold calling myself, and actually seeing where it got me. So I've learned quite a bit, sorry, about cold calling. So, firstly, I just want to say that be positive whenever you actually do jump on a cold call and you try and you speak to a gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper is basically the person who picks up the phone. This may be a receptionist. This may be a an assistant or secretary. But you just want to be very, very positive because honestly, if you're calling to ask for something, these businesses probably have hundreds of these calls. So you want to be a little bit different. Be positive. Ask the gatekeeper how they are. Be genuine. Be nice, and actually care. And it will come across in the way you actually speak. So I know it may be a little bit hard to be positive, especially after 30 or 40 calls in a row. If you try to cold call and people have said no or turned you away or given you some other response which signals that they're not interested. But staying positive and staying in a positive frame of mind takes a little bit of practice. So you just have to keep doing it, and you get a feel for it after a few cold calls. But you want to come across as someone who actually cares, because as I said, these businesses receive hundreds of people trying to talk to them and trying to ask to speak to a to the owner or the manager, and you want to be a little bit different. So by being positive, you're gonna be you're gonna put yourself ahead of all the other people who are trying to do the same thing, basically. Number two is don't ever approach a sales call or a cold call with a scarcity mindset. Now, what do I mean by this? I think that when you approach a call with the thinking that what's the point? Like they're probably gonna say no to me. Like why should I even call another person? Or what's it's not gonna make a difference whether I call this business or not. Now you probably think that thinking these kind of thoughts has really no effect, but I can assure you, this kind of mindset comes across in your the way you speak and your actual tonality, so the tone of your voice. If you're very positive and you actually really care, you want to speak to that person, you're happy, it will come across in your tone. And if you're not, again, it's going to come across no matter if it's over the phone or in person. So what I like to do is you have to, like, what I like to say to myself sometimes is just say, excuse my profancy, but just say fuck it, have that fuck it mindset or that mentality that if you take this call, it may be the actual difference. And even if it's not, you're saying to yourself, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not losing anything. It doesn't matter. Like, so what if they turn me away? So what if they tell me to email them, and that means probably no, or not now. But so what? It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There's hundreds of thousands of other businesses to actually call and get some interest from them. So don't take it personally when somebody says no to you. Okay, lesson number three or tip number three is that I've learned is when you first start, you're probably going to try and rush everything, and it's going to be, your speech is going to be slurred. You're going to be all over the place because you're going to feel a little bit nervous when you speak to people. And I think I've learned this, and I was like this actually. But it just gets better after you do a few cold calls and you do it again and again and again. After a while, you start to get in a groove, and you start speaking to the gatekeepers with a like a very you start to speak to them with the actual presence. And what I mean by that is you actually you slow down naturally, and you speak like as if you were speaking to another person. You're very calm, collected, and cool instead of being rushed and trying to get the call over and done with as soon as possible. This comes across whenever you speak to a gatekeeper. It comes across if you want to get the call over and done with, and they can tell like if you actually care, basically. Okay, cool. So those were my three sort of lessons or tips that I learned, but I wanted to share a few, a bonus tip or bonus lesson is whenever you actually speak to a gatekeeper or an assistant or whatever, just remember that they're just trying to do their job, and they're not there to pass you on to the owner, because they're actually trained to not pass people on just willy-nilly to the owner, because again it wastes the owner's time, and they probably get hundreds of people trying to do the same thing. So just think, if they actually let all of those hundreds of people in, and they pass all of their names to the business owner, the owner doesn't have time to respond to all of them. He probably he doesn't have time for that. He probably has a million other things that he has to probably do. And so how are you going to stand out from everyone else? Like, you have to think about that. And also, as I said before, don't take it personally if you get turned away, or if they say no or whatever. There's so many other more businesses to call and contact that honestly you should just be like, cool, I'll go on to the next one. And lastly, if you speak to an assistant or a secretary, try and remember their name. Put their name down in some sort of spreadsheet, or your customer relationship manager, your CRM. It's like a document which has all the details of the businesses that you contacted. What's the gatekeeper's name for next time when you follow up, because you're not only going to call a business once. If you can actually help someone, if you can actually help a business, increase their revenue with your services, then you have to be persistent. And I think that persistence really helps when landing someone. I mean, I've only landed like one client, but I can actually say that cold calling, it does work. No matter what anyone else says, it does work. But it is a little bit hard, and I know many people are not fans because of the core sales nature of the approach. And some people are they're not that salesy. So yeah, it doesn't really fit their personality. But I hope you enjoyed this video and you took something from it. I'm going to catch you guys later, so have a nice day. Take care.